Introduce myself.
Yeah,
Hi, my name is John X. I'm a comedian. This is my brand, Black Sheep. So I'm the CEO, president of Black Sheep Comedy. We do open mics here at the Creative Space every Monday evening. You guys feel free to come check it out anytime. I'll tell them how long I've been doing comedy. I've been doing comedy about 10, almost 11 years. So yeah, man.
Nice. Okay, can you tell me more about Black Sheep, like how you got the name?
So Black Sheep, it really comes from me in my own sense. Like I feel like I'm the black sheep of my family, especially when it comes to like my overall family. When I incorporate my mom and dad's side, I dropped out of college because college ain't for everybody, you know. But I always looked at it as everyone else had, you know, degrees. Everybody on my dad's side has at least a master's or a PhD. Everybody on my mom's side has at least a 4-year, if not a master's degree. A lot of my cousins have went to school on scholarships. They completed school or still in school right now. And like I was the first to say, well, I'm not gonna say I was the first to say because I have an older cousin who also did not graduate from college, but she did end up going and getting some type of, you know, secondary degree to do what she's doing now. But yeah, I did, I want to say damn near 6 years of school. I had a semester left. I dropped out. And so everyone kind of was like, yo, we don't do that. And so it kind of, you know, like, now I have this like asterisk, you know, like I'm part of the family, but he ain't finished school. And so like now I have a younger sibling who also dropped out, but I'm pretty sure that sibling will probably go back and finish their degree sometime. But me, I was like, no, I'm good. Because, you know.
Yeah, and so it became Black Sheep. That was like that's what set it off, right?
Yeah, and that's when I started embracing just the moniker of Black Sheep. But then I also, you know, if you know anything about a black sheep isn't always a black sheep in color, but you know, any sheep that has like a blemish. And so when it comes to like wool, you know, it makes that sheep less valuable because that, you know, it has a blemish. And so now it's like, all right, instead of paying you 100 like we would have, we don't pay you 50, you know what I'm saying? And so like now it's like all about embracing your flaws. And so like that's what got wool means, is that like we all got flaws, and you know, it don't matter whatever your flaw is, you know, you'll never have the confidence that you really need until you embrace it. So yeah, man, don't tell nobody I'm deep, man. I be trying to be, you know.
Can you show them the shirt?
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, award, you know what I'm saying? You know, so hey, you know, you need your black sheep gear, go ahead and hit your boy up. You know what I'm saying? We got going for the low right now because it's Christmas time. You know, tax season coming up here soon, so I might raise the price. I know how y'all be wilding on stuff when tax season comes.
Tax season got me fucked up. Okay, so talk about the open mic.
So the open mic, it's a different style of open mic, especially when it comes to comedy in Minnesota, because in Minnesota a lot of the open mics are run like performances, and so you're always having the pressure of I don't want to bomb, or I need to do the best I can, and when things don't happen the way you want it to happen, you become discouraged, you know, like you performed before, you know what it's like. You know what it's like when you feel like, okay, damn, like I didn't do as good as I thought I was gonna do, or you know, or sometimes it's like, damn, I did way better than I thought I was, and so now it's like you have a threshold of like I need every performance to be as better as, you know what I'm saying, better if not greater than this performance, or, you know, and so you have a lot of people that they get into this this routine of mastering 3 to 6 minutes of comedy. And so you go to all of these places and you have your 3 to 6 minutes, and that's your set, and you're moving around and you're going to, because it's only about 20 comedy open mics in Minnesota. And so if you compare that to places like California or New York, Atlanta, Chicago, where they're doing, you know, 20 open mics a day, you know, if not more. And so it's hard to actually become a more solid sound comedian because, truth be told, you can't sell anybody on a 6-minute tour. You know, like if somebody were to call you and say, hey, I got a slot for you out here in New York, can you come? How much material do you got? If you say anything less than an hour, they're going to be like, all right, well, we're going to call this guy who got an hour. Even if they're not as funny as you, you know, even if they only need you for 6 minutes, you know. But the thing about it is that 6 minutes might only work, you know, in Minnesota. You know, a lot of people that have that, I like to call it locational comedy, where like, you know, if I name drop Lake Street, everybody's gonna be like, oh, I know Lake Street, ha ha ha. But you're not gonna go to Chicago and then talk about Lake Street, because they're gonna be like, what the fuck is Lake Street? You know, so and so here the thing that's special about this open mic is that I try to give people as much time as they want without going, you know, too crazy, depending on how many people we do have, and I'm always stressing that this is practice. You want to practice, get better. You want to find your comedic sound. You want to work on your rhythm. You want to work on your presence on stage, how you talk, how you project, things like that. Because when you go to a lot of these other open mics and you don't have that, then it's a strong chance you might not ever get on the stage there again. So like I know people that go to Acme on a regular basis and haven't been on Acme stage in 2 years, but they still go every week. You know, there's people that are on the wait list to go to, what's that place at the mall? Always slips my mind, House of Comedy. And so it's all these places where, you know, your open mic experience is based on how well you performed the last time. And so if you didn't do so good, it might be a very long time for anybody sees you up again, or you might have to know somebody that knows somebody that might be like, hey, give him another chance to get on stage. He been rocking these other open mics lately. So,
do you feel like a leader or like a coach in some sense? Like
yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. I feel like a culture, and this is not just me from doing an open mic here, but I started doing comedy, taking it serious about 4 years ago. I did my first comedy show. It was at Honey. I'm pretty sure that's where I met you. But yeah, and I found I want to say 3 other comedians that I'm real close with still today. Shout out homie Trey Scott. I don't know if you know Timo Party Foul. Rich Lee, that's his younger brother. And then Lee Evans. Lee Evans, he goes by Leslie Moore or something like that. Shout out, bro. And yeah, and that was the first time I ever did like an actual like comedy show that I put together myself, and that was because I did one of the comedy contests at Acme, and I felt like I was stiffed. Like everyone was like, "Yo, you should have won that," you know. But I lost to somebody that when they introduced him, they was like, "He's a regular here. He's here at the open mic every week," and I'm like, "Wow!" Like, if I would have known it was like that, then, you know what I'm saying, I would have just waited the next year or something. But because I had just moved back, and so I think I took like a 3-year hiatus after that from comedy, and I was just kind of working on shows. I was doing a lot of hosting of like music shows and things like that for Mac House, and then my bro DJ Cam Jones. And then somebody was like, "Hey, yo, we should do one of the president of Mac House, shout out October." He was like, "Yo, bro, we need to get into some comedy. Do you know comedians?" I'm like, I know a few, because they knew we all went to college. They knew I did comedy down there. And so we were like, let's do a comedy show. And so I did my first show. I invited like 20 of my friends. I headlined. I did an hour. And then, you know, 20 people came. And that was the first, you know, that was my first time, you know, and it was a phenomenal show. And people at Honey were like, "Yo, you need to do this again." And so then I set up again, same 3 people, and I did another show, and I brought, you know, 40 people this time, you know, and so they were like, "Oh man, you growing," you know, and then we did another show, and I want to say about 75 people showed up, and you know, in Honey, 75 people, that's, you know, that's a packed house in there, especially when you got the seats out, you know. And so, and then I started inviting other comedians because I didn't really know a lot of other black comedians that were on the scene. And so that's when I started meeting guys like Elliot Vreeland, Pierre, everybody at the Baddies Comedy Club, Ashley, shout out homegirl. And then so I started inviting them to the shows, and then I started allowing other people to headline, other people to feature, things like that. I started bringing more comics at one time. So I went from doing only four comics to doing 10 to 15, and then I throw music in there. So just look at a show where it's 12 comedians and then I got 3 music acts. So those shows started to grow, and so we had like we were packing out Honey. Like one time we had like 150 people in there, and so it was so many people. Like people started leaving because they were like standing up. So like people were just staying for the people that they really were coming for, and so and that's when everyone started saying like, oh wow, like this is a different vibe. This is different, with the. I was kind of, I don't know if you ever did any shows with Cam Jones, but I kind of took his, like the way he set things up, kind of like he would do like a, what do you call it, like cafeteria style, first come, first serve, so I'll reach out to a bunch of comedians, and then whoever reaches back out to me, that's what's on the show, and then I'll make a flyer, put everybody's name on it, and then we'll run it like that. And so when everyone comes, I'll say, okay, this person reached out to me first, they got here first, I'll let them choose their spot, and then kind of base everybody else on like experience and things like that. But yeah, and so when people started coming to our comedy shows, it was like a different vibe, and then I started inviting more diverse comedians, women, white people, Mexicans, anybody was allowed to come and perform. At the end of the day, it's, if you're funny, you're funny, especially, and I know a lot of people, they have that, like, you're only funny if black people laugh at you, and so I'm giving everybody an opportunity, because like I don't know, I feel like a lot of people think that we lead the culture of everything, but at the end of the day, man, like funny is funny, and especially if it's able to translate, through cultures. And so
who do you look up to?
Man, so I grew up listening to Richard Pryor. My dad had these old Richard Pryor CDs. It was like a box set, and I would like burn them onto my computer. And then the funny thing is I used to make like mixtapes, and so like I would like intro, interlude, I was making these mixtapes where I would put like all these different songs on there, and I would always throw Richard Pryor in there, and then I started looking at other comedians, guys like Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, D.L. Hughley, who's the guy from Undercover Brother. His name's Eddie too. His name's Eddie something too.
I'm sure you look at Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle as well.
Yeah.
But the thing about like guys like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, their stand-ups really didn't translate as well as guys like Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, especially where I'm from. I look up to Cat Williams a lot today, but yeah, like a lot of black people looked at like guys like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, like all those they do white comedy, and it's just like if you know comedy, you understand the difference of like your typical white comedian, your typical black comedian. Black people, we tend to more do like stories, and more relatable things in the sense of like not in the sense of like you got to be black to understand this, but like you've had to have gone through this to understand it. Like that's why I talk about relationships all the time. Like because I feel like the drama is always the same, even if it's happening to different people, like Chris might be Pookie over here, like, but it's still the same. And so you understand it. But like a lot of white comedians, they do a lot of, the traditional, they set you up with a joke and they have a punchline that's waiting for you at the end. And I don't like to take away from either or, because it's all about, if you're funny, you're funny. I listened to like growing up, I used to watch a lot of Demetri Martin. Like a lot of black people would be like, "What the fuck is this?" Demetri Martin. He does more like he has like great one-liners, but he does like a lot of that like prop style comedy. Like he has this one series where he has like a flip, like a tablet. Like a tablet, he's just like flipping pages in the tablet of stuff he drew, and then so
I think I do know who that is. Is he on Comedy Central?
He was on Comedy Central, yeah. He had a show just like Daniel Tosh. Okay. I listen to Daniel Tosh, he's great.
Tosh.
Yeah, Tosh Porno. Yeah. Tosh Porno had one of the Minnesota's greats.
Comedy, he's from Minnesota?
No, I'm talking about 50 Tyson. Yeah, 50 Tyson.
That's true.
And 50 Tyson blew up. Man, the funny thing about that is 50 Tyson, I played against him in football, and so we were like friends on like MySpace, and he like sent everybody like on my football team like those videos of him rapping, and like we was laughing at him for like a couple weeks, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that dude, man, yeah, whoever do this, he funny. He was like, yo, man, the people sound like 50 Cent, people sound like Mike Tyson, so I'm 50 Tyson. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. And that was it, and I never thought nothing of it.
That happened in real time, huh?
And then I was in Mississippi for my first year of school, and somebody was like, "Yo, man, this dude's from Minnesota, man. You know him?" It's like, you look like him. I'm like, all right, now, here we go. You know, here we go. Everybody trying to roast, and then you know, shout out 50 Tyson, man. That's the homie still to this day.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I always tell people that. I'm like, yo, man, I was like one of the first people to watch that video. And didn't even, and that was before things were like really going viral, you know, like before, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was back when like 50,000 views was viral.
That went viral, like, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah,
that was probably pre Instagram, pre-Twitter.
Yeah, that was pre all of that. So like,
Facebook, like after
yeah, that was like when Facebook really, so when I first got on Facebook was like 2008. And that was like when Facebook was only really geared towards like college students. Yeah, and so like we was high schoolers, and we, you know, you get a Facebook, you like, oh man, I'm you know, but we had MySpaces, you know what I'm saying? MySpace was still bumping, you know, we still had top 88s. Remember that? You can,
it's so crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Top 4 and shit.
Now you got TikTok.
Yeah, like yeah.
Tell me though, what is the role that comedy plays in your life?
To be honest, man, it's really just a means to an end. I want to do a lot of things in my community, but I know that a lot of that comes with like economics. So I want comedy to be the driving force of me being able to fund a lot of the things that I want to fund. You know, community centers. You know, things that help youth. You know, find a more stronger, solid place in their own communities. But I know that at the end of the day, like I can sit here and go and work at a community center and wish for all of these things, but it'll never happen because I might never have the finances to do the things that I want to do. And even with comedy and what I'm doing now, you know, the little that I make from this, you know what I'm saying, I'm able to do some things that, you know, can impact, you know, a small community at the moment. But, you know, as stuff starts rolling on and rolling in, and then also you get that influence, you know, so like if it's like when, you know, an NFL player comes and does a football camp versus somebody that was just like a high school legend, you know, like, you know, that's all it is, that like, you know, people are gonna say, oh, John's doing something, you know, let me go and see what that is about, versus like if I was just like a no-name person that was like trying to do all these community, because like even now, like I try to do a lot of things for the community, and people are like, what is this for, you know? But like when you got that influence, it's like, oh, I'm doing something for this community. They're like, oh, we finna jump on board, you know? And the thing about it is that like with me, I feel like our future is the children, and so I know that I don't really care about what a lot of adults think when it comes to like the future, because y'all time is up, you know. Y'all had the opportunity before to make some change and y'all haven't. And the thing about it is that your mind was already set by the time you hit 18, 19, 20. We got a lot of kids that are impressionable. I feel like if a kid can learn a song, you know what I'm saying, a kid can learn something about their history. And so I feel like that's a lot of things that we lack as a community, is things like history, knowing ourselves, knowing where we're from. You know what I'm saying? Knowing the people that have done things from us. Like even growing up, you know, you only learned about Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, and you might have learned about Malcolm X. And the only reason why they teach about Malcolm X is because he was beefing with Martin, apparently, so allegedly. But yeah, so I feel like a lot of the things that's wrong with our community, and I don't like to, I'm gonna use that term wrong lightly, because I know a lot of it comes from, you know, outside influences and brainwashing. But I feel like the main thing is that we got a lot of kids that don't have that confidence in themselves and who they are, and that's due because they don't know a history of them having something strong. It's easy, and I hate to put everything black and white, but it's easier for a white person to have confidence in everything because you're taught all your history, literally everything about you. You're you know what I'm saying? Like they every year, every decade, every century, they got what I'm saying?
Got
like
Black History Month.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
All right, now that February's over.
Even within Black History Month, they throw white history in there, and so like that's the thing about it is that like you never truly get to grasp the impact Black people had on just America. And the thing about it is that they try to blind you from it, even though it's right in front of your face. Like look at the amount of culture that we're doing here now. And it has never changed. It has always been that. Even back before slavery, if you really, we go back into true history, but like even during slavery, our culture was changing, how everything was going on here. Like they only want to tell you that we were just slaves, but like we had our hand in medicine and things like that. Like we was helping Master's family with a lot of the ailments that they had. Just from the stuff that we knew about herbs and things like that. But yeah, that's, like it's just like little things like that they will never want to show you because they know that impact, that has. And so, and like that's why they, I feel like that's why they show a lot of war, because it's a conquering, and right now we have this conqueror's mentality, like we want to. Like we fight for, if we were on the same block, like, I need to fight for this block because we it's ingrained in us now that it's a competitiveness. So,
yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you, and I think what you're doing is the right thing, to move forward. And speaking of like what's coming next? Like what do you have? What's in your plans?
All right. So right now, we're using this space, and we're going to be shooting a stand-up TV show, and we're going to be putting that on local cable access TV for the moment. And then once we get a couple seasons down and wrapped up, and cut looking nice, we'll try to apply for like one of the streaming sites, Netflix, Amazon Prime, things like that, to try to pick it up. Because I feel like that is something that you don't see is like a true comedy stand-up show. And I'm a big fan of DC Young Fly and the 85 South Show and what they're doing, but I don't really see that as traditional comedy. I look at that as like more like a live podcast, and I love that. I hate feeling like people are like, oh, he hating. Like, no, I'm not hating. I just love the traditional way of comedy, and I know that it would.
As opposed to podcast.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll always have a staple in just culture, period. Because people been doing stand up since for the beginning of time. You look at you go back and look at people like jesters and stuff. That's all that was them doing comedy. And so but yeah. So. And then I'm also working on the podcast. Don't tell nobody. But yeah, so a lot of things that I got planned for comedy in the comedy community that I'm a part of. So we got skits that we're working on, things like that. So,
what's something that you find that like people often what's a common misconception about comedians or comedy or yourself?
Man, I feel like a common misconception is that I'm dumb. They always look at funny people like, oh, this person's dumb. And the thing about it is comedy is like one of the most intellectual art forms that there is. Because the thing is that like really a lot of comedians are pointing out the ironies that you are subscribed to, and we do it in a way that you think is funny, even though like, a lot of, they say that, the truth hurts, and the thing about comedy is that like, if I could tell you something that's so true that it hurts, but it also makes you laugh, it hurts to the point where you just laugh at it, then it's like, you know, like it takes a lot of thought process to go into that, because I could leave it at a point where it just angers you. You know, and so like that's where you get guys like Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, where I'm like, man, that's not funny, that's just real, you know, and it's like, and you can't do nothing but laugh at it. You're like, damn, like, you know, like, there's an Australian comic, I can't think of his name right now, but he talks about gun laws, like the state of guns in America, and he's like everyone in America, they have all these guns, and like, what do you need them for? And he's like, what kind of bozo thinks that like everyone's after them all the time? Like, yo, I keep it by my bedside. And it's like, oh, but what if your kid plays with it? He's like, oh man, I got it in a locker. You know, I got it locked in a safe. And they're like, well, if somebody comes in your house and it's locked in a safe, it's too late now. And so it's like things. I love that form of comedy, because it's real, but it's also like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a thought process that goes behind it. You know, we're not that. I was always that friend, you know, that told the good stories. You know what I'm saying? That was always cracking jokes, roasting people. You know, that was definitely me. I got a son and I got a daughter on the way, so I need to be taking it serious. You know, so just because I'm funny and I make people laugh, don't mean that, you know, I don't got mouths to feed. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean that I don't put in a lot of work, you know what I'm saying, on my craft and everything that I'm doing for the community. So
that's huge.
Was I supposed to be like looking directly in the camera? No. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. You know how people be like, yo, you supposed to look directly in the camera? I'm a person where I believe in intrinsic motivation. I feel like everything comes from inside of you. I wake up, you know, ready to go. I don't need to think about things. I know a lot of people say, oh man, you got kids, or you got a girl, or you got a new car, or you got a house, but at the end of the day, that all starts from you. You know, if you don't want it, it's not gonna happen, you know, and then now everything around you is gonna fall, or you're gonna make something happen that you don't want to do, you know what I'm saying? You might have to go back and work a full-time job or something. And so that's my motivation, is that I know that I need to get it done, because I want to get it done, because I got goals, I got dreams, and everything is going to start from me. And when I look at myself and I look at everyone around me, like, oh yeah, I got mouths to feed, you know, but I can't depend on my son being my motivation every day. I can't depend on my girl being my motivation every day. I can't depend on my parents and my family. You know, I got to depend on myself to be the motivation. And so when people say, like, what happens when you're not feeling funny? Well, you just got to feel funny. You know, when you get on stage, a lot of comedians, that's what when I was talking about the strong 6 minutes, like having a strong 6 minutes is great, but it's not the best, because when you're up there in that 2-minute mark and no one's laughed yet, now you either got to make that adjustment, or you got to continue on with this set that's no longer working. And so I look at it like life gonna always throw you something, and if you don't know how to, you know, make that adjustment, then, you know, it's that much easier for life to take you out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at nature, you know, adaptability is always gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the giraffe with the longest neck is always gonna get the tallest leaf. You know what I'm saying? That's really my motivation to get better, is that I look at myself, you know, and I know a lot of people always ask me, like, why don't I work with so and so and this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, like, I don't look at nobody as competition. You know, the moment you look at somebody else's competition, now you're either winning or losing. If that person is winning, you're losing. If that person is losing, you feel like you're winning, but at the end of the day, nobody's really won. You know what I'm saying? When you're competing with somebody, especially somebody that looks like you or is doing the same thing as you, or somebody that you can really easily collaborate with. And so I'm not a person where I do like a lot of reaching out to people, but I'm also not a person that's gonna knock somebody for doing whatever it is they're doing, or give into whatever it is they're doing, especially if it's something that's about me. Because at the end of the day, like, you liking me or not liking me is not going to, you know what I'm saying, it's going to keep me from getting on the stage and doing what I got to do. And that's why I took it into my own liberties to create my own stages, you know, create my own shows, you know, do my own thing, find my own people to work with. Because at the end of the day, when you're over here waiting on somebody else to give you an opportunity, all the opportunity that you could be making for yourself are walking away.
Facts. More people need to hear that message.
Even what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably looked at an opportunity that you had as like, oh damn, that's a door closed. And then you could have sat back and was like, all right, well, I guess all my artistic ability is gone now. But now, you know what I'm saying? You like, man, fuck that. We finna open this other door. I'm finna get this camera. So that's what everybody got to start looking at, is that when Minnesota becomes more people that want to be bosses and not employees, it's going to be a different scene. You know what I'm saying? Because we lose a lot of talent due to that talent depending on other people to see them as talented and not seeing themselves as talented. And that hurts us a lot more than it does other places, because other places, they have a better infrastructure to where you can be the talent and somebody finds you and then you do your thing. In Minnesota, just because you're talented don't mean anybody's gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is we have so many avenues that we can, you know what I'm saying, that we can take over. Like I got a homie, he doesn't live here, but you ever heard of Biddles? He's a rapper. He lives in Wisconsin, but he's done a lot of shows out here, and he took off on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And but that's the thing, is that like he could have been one of those people that's like, oh, I'm not gonna get on TikTok or blase or whatever. Had every excuse not to do something, and then did something, and then learned how to master that. Now he's mastered it. Now, you know, he's doing, you know what I'm saying, 100,000 listeners a month on Spotify. He's doing, you know, all of these things that a lot of artists wish they, you know what I'm saying, that when they do the year-end joint, you know what I'm saying? Like, I be looking at some of them numbers and I'm like, hey, bro, you could be doing a lot better, but the thing about it is that you're dependent on somebody else to show you that light instead of going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, a lot of the stuff I do, I research it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to run a business well, I research, you learn it. You go take a class on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Robert Kiyosaki, he told a lady that she was like, I'm a better writer than you, but you sold more books than me. And you told her the reason why I sold more books than you is because I'm a better salesman than I am a writer. But at the end of the day, I use what I know as a salesman to sell my book. It might not be as great as the books that you have written, but it's going to sell more because you don't understand how to sell. And she was saying that I would never become a salesman because I want to just focus on my writing. And that's the thing, is that, like, you know, it's gonna be, not a lot of people gonna see you for your talent just because you're talented. You know, and the thing about it is understanding how to market and sell yourself. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's a lot of motherfucking gems, bitch. I'm just
you gotta cover every avenue.
No, yeah, like,
you have to.
You know, I'm always gonna try to put as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I got a little bit of time. But yeah, man, like I just want people to know that, hey, man, you might see me every day. You might see me on TV or whatever, you know, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and think you know me. But at the end of the day, man, like, only I really know me, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so at the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying? Take some of these gems, man, it's going to change your life. Or you cannot take any of these gems and your life's still going to change. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the way you want it to change, but, you know what I'm saying? It's better to take control than lose control, I guess.
Yeah, the balance.
Hey, get in motherfucking yang, you feel me? You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I do this.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, and you have a very artistic mind. Like, even when you were doing music, you were different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that should always drive you. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm talking to you.
I feel like you've been talking to me this whole time. Straight up, like I don't ever separate myself from this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, like
I am this. Like, this is me. I am this. Like, it's not. It's one and the same. And I'm just trying to be humble with it. You know,
we've all wanted to give up. You know, sometime, some way, some shape, some form, and giving up is not always a bad thing. It all depends on what you're giving up on. Like me, like earlier, I gave up on trying to play it safe. You know, I took that leap and was like, yo, I'm not gonna work a full-time job anymore. I'm going to put my all into everything I'm doing. And now I look at it like I might have gave up on that safe lifestyle to something that, you know, I never know what might happen. You know, like the pandemic. You know, I quit my job in the middle of a pandemic, and now I'm on a solid foundation to where I'm able to pay all the bills I need to pay, make sure my family eats every day, things like that. But you know, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I look at myself a year ago, I would have never saw myself as like, yo, I'm gonna put my all into this and not and look back. You know, I was always like, yo, I'm gonna do this as much as I can in my spare time, my free time, but I'm gonna make sure that I got these checks coming in every week.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset that they want you to have, because at any given moment when things get rough, what you gonna give up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people not gonna give up that safety net. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, it hurt when you hit that ground. It hurt when you hit that ground. Real talk.
Because the ground is real.
That's exactly. You know what I'm saying? Metaphorically, literally. Hey, it don't matter. Yo, you hitting the ground. That shit is real.
It is.
You know, and our dreams tell us a lot about it too. You know what I'm saying? You ever had them dreams where you feel like you falling and you wake up at the end?
Yeah.
Like that's that safety net. The same thing where it's like, yo, I was falling and that safety net woke me up before I hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, in the dream, real life, whatever, that hitting that ground hurt.
Dream is everything, man.
Yeah. So once you take that safety net away, then you got to learn how to fly, and that's what I've been trying to do this whole time. Is like, yo, I was gliding before, but now I'm flying. And now that I'm flying, I'm able to create everything that's in front of me because I'm not reacting anymore. I'm proactive. You know, that's a different story for another day, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have to get that jewel. Hey, life. People that's reactive are the people that are using that safety net. You know what I'm saying? When life hits you and you reactive, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, be proactive. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go in and give you real details, but at the end of the day, man, it's like you want to be proactive. You know, the difference between a lion and a gazelle is that a lion wake up knowing they want to eat. A gazelle wake up knowing that it could be eaten. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you look at, you know what I'm saying? Like a lion, you know, he could be like, hey, I don't even feel like chasing nothing today. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? But a gazelle every day got to wake up knowing that, hey, it might be a lion on my ass today. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you know, if you ever heard the lion and the gazelle story, that's really what it is. The lion, that's intrinsic motivation. The gazelle is the extrinsic, you know, is living off of the reaction, the fear. You know, the lion is waking up choosing, like, yo, I'm finna go hunt today. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, I want gazelle today. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want hippo today. You know, not saying that the lion can take a hippo.
I'm about to say that.
but you know what I mean though. Like it's better to have that choice. You know what I'm saying? Than somebody making that choice for you. You know, because they say, you know,
at the end of the day, I completely agree with you. Yeah.
You know, because all a lion got to do is be faster than the slowest gazelle. But a gazelle got to be faster than the fastest lion. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
when you put it that way,
whichever you gazelles is at the back, I'm on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what a lion is thinking. Like, hey, whichever one of these, you know, I'm catching. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Lion, man. You have to remain the hungry lion out here, otherwise you get eaten.
Truth, especially in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Because you know.
let's not go too far down that road.
Yeah. But thank you though.
I will say, man, like you're an inspiration, like to me and to people that are around you. Sometimes it's hard to see that from the inside looking out.
Yeah.
But like I definitely want to remind you. I know you know, but this is my reminder. You are definitely inspiration to people around you.
Thank you, man. That's what's up, man.
You are a light.
For sure. That's what I try to be, man.
Yeah.
You know like Jesus. I'm joking.
Big energy. Hey, man. Prophets. They say prophets are the people who aren't afraid to call out the truth.
Yes.
And I think you do that. So yeah, man. Can you? Again, if there's anything else you want to add, or if not, just shout out Staring at the City and say your name.
Hey man, I just want to give a shout out to Staring at the City, man. It's your boy John X. You can find me on Instagram at Extra Genius, or you can follow my comedy at Got Wool Comedy on Instagram, and then you'll be able to see what we got going on here at the open mic and everything that we got going, man. Shout out my man's, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we just trying to stare at the city and make it a light or something cool. I don't know what to say. Somebody's calling me. Somebody's outside. They're like, nigga, where you at? Come pick me up. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? You already know what it is, bro. You can cut that whenever. if you want to cut that.